Happy rabbit. Happy rabbit.
Time Check, brought to you by BioStrath Immune with added zinc. Distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambley.
I'm Ryan Bachu.
Hi, I'm Jassim Mariq with Sport.
And I'm Sioni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. State moves to block release order after High Court directs that Star Sabga be discharged from this detention.
Police Commissioner orders immediate investigation into the authenticity of the leaked Hadid Sabga audio recording and whether protected information was unlawfully disclosed.
Employees overjoyed as businessman Dominic Hadid returns to Blue Waters following a month of incarceration.
Coming up in sport, Greaves grabs the first BLCA fifer before the Batters put the Lara name to shame with a sorry second innings.
Steamy temps now, but can a tropical wave bringing much needed relief overnight? I've got the details in the full forecast.
A High Court judge has ordered the release of 69-year-old Star Sabga on house arrest.
But after spending over a month in prison, Sabga's legal victory was short-lived as the state obtained an interim stay of the decision pending an application to the Court of Appeal. A similar move by the state was done in relation to her relatives Dominic and Genevieve Hadid. However, they have since been released after their PDOs were revoked. Sabga has been detained over an alleged plot to kill key government officials. In his decision, Justice Vigil Paul questioned the need for her detention following the release of the Hadids last week. He also pointed out that the state had not adduced any evidence of Sabga allegedly seeking to further the purported plot, which stemmed from an intercepted telephone conversation in June. Attorney Gerald Ramdeen asked for a temporary stay of the Sabga release order to allow him time to make a permanent application before the Court of Appeal. It is the same approach the state took for the Hadids before they were eventually released.
Now, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Visesa says she cannot comment on the specifics of the investigation into the alleged plot to assassinate her and senior government officials, but says the probe has expanded significantly. The Prime Minister told CNC3 News she has been advised the investigation now extends across multiple jurisdictions. She says several foreign intelligence and investigative agencies are involved, with new people, financial institutions and businesses identified as part of the expanding probe. Prasad-Visesa added that local and foreign authorities have advised her the investigation has become more complex and will take time to complete. Her comments come days after the Homeland Security Minister revoked PDOs issued against businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife, saying their continued detention was no longer proportionate while the criminal investigation continues.
The alleged leak audio that's gone viral on social media is now under police investigation.
Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara ordered that investigators determine whether the recording is authentic, whether it was legally intercepted, and if so, how did it make its way into the public domain?
Meanwhile, Attorney General John Jeremy is warning against assumptions about who may be behind the recording and defending the legal safeguards that govern intercepted communications. Jesse Ramdale has more.
Attorney General John Jeremy says the source of a controversial leaked audio recording between a businesswoman and her relative should not be assumed. Responding to questions from CNC3 News on Monday, Jeremy said advances in technology meant communications can also be intercepted by actors outside Trinidad and Tobago. In the leaked recording, which has been widely shared on social media, racist remarks are directed to the Prime Minister as the woman ventilated concerns about the government's alleged targeting of an ethnic group. The recording surfaced shortly after Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander filed an affidavit defending Star Sabga's preventative detention order during the recent state of emergency, referring to intercepted communications. CNC3 News asked the Attorney General what legal basis existed for intercepting Sabga's phone, whether the affidavit implied all Syrians were under surveillance, which court issued any warrant, and who applied for it. While Jeremy did not answer those specific questions, he insisted the law does not allow for a particular ethnic group to be targeted. He also defended the country's legal safeguards governing interceptions. Meanwhile, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has launched an investigation into the leak itself. Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara has appointed Assistant Commissioner Andy Tiwari to determine whether the recording is authentic, whether it was lawfully intercepted under the Interception of Communications Act, and if so, how it was released into the public domain. Investigators will also probe whether protected information was unlawfully disclosed or whether there were breaches of operational security. The opposition People's National Movement has welcomed the probe but is calling for it to go further. In a Facebook post, PNM Chairman Marvin Gonzalez commended the police commissioner for ordering the investigation but warned investigators against political interference. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Well, earlier today, we asked if you believe there should be a probe into how the Star Sabga audio was obtained and subsequently leaked.
This is what you had to tell us.
Yeah, sure. To get answers.
Yeah, that is also definitely warranted. An investigation as how it got out in the public domain is also very much warranted because we need to know how it is to see that is the case, because if that's the case, it speaks to the privacy of everybody in the country.
I think the proper authorities should have an inquiry into that matter.
But who taped it in the first place? You know, is it that our privacy is privacy, or is it our privacy is invaded? Is it legal or is it not legal? And if it is legal, how come the Haddies and them alone? What about the corrupted politicians?
It kind of puts them in a negative light. And also, how can we move forward trusting them that further re-recordings will not be leaked? Because that is something that can also, that purposes need to look at what, who's more or less who's guarding the guards when it comes to these kinds of situations.
Well, I think they should do the investigation due to the fact that people deserve their privacy too.
Two former national security ministers are concerned over the alleged leak of intercepted communication.
Gary Griffith has described the leak as one of the biggest breaches of national security in the nation's history. Griffith questioned whether there was a lawful basis for the interception, insisting that communications should only be intercepted when there is a legitimate legal trigger. Griffith says the SSA's senior superintendent and Minister of Homeland Security should be held accountable.
I think it is important that the Prime Minister acts on this. Somebody has to take the fall for this. My personal view is that the right thing is that the Director of the SSA and the Minister of Homeland Security in times like this in any developed country would resign or be removed. Only in a banana republic, something like this could have taken place. Even the fact of them pulling back the PDO and then trying to fool the country. Roger Alexander, do not lie to the country.
Meanwhile, opposition MP Marvin Gonzalez is calling for a commission of inquiry into the use of interception powers and preventive detention orders, arguing that greater accountability is needed to restore public trust.
Attorney General John Jeremy says he continues to support Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and the police service despite criticism of the government's handling of the Hadid matter. Responding to questions from CNC3 News, Jeremy said the legal standard for preventive detention orders is different from the threshold required to lay criminal charges. He added that he supports the actions taken by the police and national security agencies in the public interest. Jeremy also confirmed that no fees have yet had been paid to lawyers representing the state, but said defending the rule of law is a priority, regardless of the eventual cost. He insisted that defending the principle of equal justice is a necessary expense, noting that his legal fees budget has already been reduced by what he estimates is 80%. The state's legal team includes King's Counsel Sir James Raymond Eady and Robert Stephen Strang, along with Attorney Gerald Ramdeen.
Former PNM Senator Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal says she does not consider the derogatory name used to describe people of East Indian descent as offensive.
Sagram Singh Suklal was referring to remarks made in the leaked audio where racist remarks were aimed at Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa by an alleged 69-year-old conspirator.
I am an East Indian Hindu, very proud woman, and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and I take no offense. And I take no offense because what I heard in that audio was the ranting of a frustrated citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. And if our leaders took offense by being called or referred to by a certain term, well, then they need to cease and desist from referring to other people by similar terms.
The former minister adds that referring to a group of people as 1% is just as derogatory as the term used in the audio.
Well, Executive Chairman Dominic Hadid has returned to work at his Blue Waters company, receiving an emotional welcome from employees at the company's Orange Grove headquarters today. His return comes just days after his release from detention, as legal proceedings against him continue before the courts. A circulating video captured the moment Hadid walked back into the company's Orange Grove headquarters. Staff hugged and greeted Hadid as he made his way through the building, thanking workers for their support during his absence.
Thank you, everybody. Listen, I miss you all.
Well, two employees and a supervisor who requested anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. They told CNC3 News there was excitement across the compound after management informed staff earlier in the day that Hadid would be returning. One employee described the reunion as emotional, saying some workers were moved to tears when Hadid entered the building. Hadid thanked the staff for their gratitude during this trying period. Well, still to come in the news, 6 fishermen lost at sea after their vessel caught a fire and sank. Tonight, one survivor recounts the desperate fight against hunger, dehydration, and death.
Former coup hostage Wendell Eversley says Trinidad and Tobago is showing the same dangerous political tensions that preceded the 1990 attempted coup, just without the ammunition.
Coming up in sport, TKR gets the nod to play all of their home games on familiar territory.
Life. What a wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique. And at Tata Life, we not only understand, but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never, ever have to worry. To learn more, contact a Tata Life advisor or visit tatalife.co.tt today. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Ansa McCall Group.
More than 3 months after the tragic jet ski accident that claimed the life of 7-year-old Angelica Jogi, the Director of Public Prosecutions has advised that the jet ski operator be charged with manslaughter.
Senior Superintendent Rodhill Kirk confirmed that the suspect, a 32-year-old man from Canaan, was rearrested earlier in the day after the DPP's advice was received. The man was initially arrested just hours after the May tragedy, but was later released as investigators continued their inquiries. Police say the manslaughter charge is expected to be formally laid later today, and the accused is expected to make his first court appearance on Tuesday. Angelica's father, Arnold Jogi, told CNC3 News the development has brought relief to the family that justice is finally being served.
However, he said the arrest of the suspect cannot bring back his daughter. Well, for over a week, Shannon Mohammed kept telling his crew they were going to make it home, even as ships passed by and the odds stacked against them in the open Atlantic.
Now, the rescued fisherman is opening up about the ordeal that left one crew member dead. Otto Carrington has his story.
For 9 days, Shannon Mohammed and 5 other fishermen drifted across the Atlantic in a small dinghy, watching ships pass and wondering if anyone would ever find them. When rescue finally came, it ended an ordeal that claimed one life and pushed the survivors to their limits. What began as a routine fishing trip aboard the St. Vincent 7 quickly turned into a fight for survival. Shortly after sunrise on July 13th, Mohammed said smoke began covering the vessel's cabin before flames rapidly engulfed the boat. The crew tried desperately to save the vessel, but the fire spread too quickly. They were forced into a small dinghy as the boat burned. Among those aboard were Trinidadians Shannon Mohammed, Kevin Fontilio, Alex Burnley and Anthony Murray, Ghanai's Captain Eshwa Prasad and Vincentian Rupert Charles. For the next 9 days, they drifted with little hope of rescue.
My mind was, I was trying not to study too much at things because, when one break down, that will lead the whole crew to break down, But everybody was at the same level. Hey, fellas, we're reaching home. We're reaching home. Some way or the other, our ship will pick us up, our boat might pass, But we try paddling to plenty ships and things. It's like we wasn't been seen. Or maybe the news didn't reach out, or, the information didn't reach out properly, or it reached out late. And nobody was on the alert really, only maybe the fishermen, them, couple boats. Nobody wasn't really paying attention.
Knowing they could be stranded indefinitely, Mohammed made a decision that may have saved the crew's lives. After the flames subsided, he climbed back onto the charter wreck and found emergency survival biscuits and drinking water. The supplies were carefully rationed as the men endured blistering heat by day and bitter cold at night and growing dehydration. As the days passed, hope began to fade. Some of the men started experiencing hallucinations. Veteran fisherman Anthony Murray grew weaker with each passing day. He eventually died.
But Murray, I believe, age, the coldness, no water, no food. And then he mind, all he may be studying, I don't know how he was thinking, but his mind was strong. On his last days, he wanted to get up and paddle to help us, Yeah, we asked him, within the 6th day and thing, we asked him, hey, how much percent you have? How much percent your battery have? We were making a little joke and thing to keep up, Yeah. He said, boy, I have 40%.
The survivors were eventually spotted by an LNG tanker called the Marvel Kike after desperately paddling toward the ship and waving until someone on board saw them. The men were taken to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where they received medical treatment before returning home. But Mohammed says his journey didn't end the way he expected. He said he was disappointed by the reception he received upon returning to Trinidad.
Trinidad was the most disgusting place to enter back to, because of the way they treat us in the airport. Now, I believe they didn't get the information properly, because I hear everybody saying that we get rescued on the boat that we was on. Nobody didn't understand it was just a dinghy we survived on for so much days. In the airport, they say that we could have get charged for the papers being wet. When I hear them kind of thing, I say we've gone through.
Despite surviving one of the most harrowing experiences of his life, Mohammed says he has no plans to leave the fishing industry. The sea, he says, still gives him peace, but he hopes lessons from the tragedy, from better emergency preparedness to stronger search and rescue coordination, will help ensure no other family endures a similar ordeal. Otto Carrington, CNC3 News.
The search for 21-year-old Nicole Landita intensified today after she disappeared when a pirogue allegedly carrying scrap copper capsized off Iquitos on Saturday while bound for Venezuela. Hunter Search and Rescue Team Captain Valence Rambarat said the operation has expanded by land, sea and air amid concerns ocean currents may have carried her farther offshore. The Coast Guard also confirmed it remained involved in the search, saying one of its patrol boats was searching for the overturned vessel on Sunday Monday when it intercepted another pirogue carrying suspected narcotics. As authorities investigate the incident, Scrap Iron Dealers Association President Alan Ferguson is urging the government to ban not only copper exports but also the local purchase of scrap copper, arguing that restricting exports alone will encourage smugglers to find other ways to move the metal out of the country. An international relations expert is tonight warning that Trinidad and Tobago's decision to vote against extending the tenure of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights could have consequences for this country's relationships with some international partners.
This includes negatively impacting those countries' willingness to share sensitive intelligence. TNT was the only Caribbean country to vote against extending Volker Turk's mandate until 2030, joining countries including the United States and Russia. International relations expert Dr. Michael Pawinski notes that several countries which voted the same way are also participants in the Shield of the Americas initiative. Pawinski adds the vote could also offer insight into how TNT may approach future matters involving the International Criminal Court. He believes TNT is positioning itself as a close and reliable U.S. ally. Political analyst Dr. Anthony Gonzalez agrees.
They are trying to endear themselves more to the United States and to Israel. And they are promoting stronger relations with Israel because they want to get certain things from Israel and certain things from the United States. For instance, what are you talking about here? You read all that went on there with the Hadiths there. What do you think is behind all of that? It's the United States and Israel and all this sophisticated equipment for monitoring people and so forth, and listen to them.
Unlike Pawinski, Gonzalez does not expect the vote to damage TNT's standing at the UN or its relationships with international partners. He says the country's key diplomatic ties will remain intact, while any that are affected are unlikely to be of strategic importance.
Despite repeated phone calls and WhatsApp messages, Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers did not respond to CNC3 News requests for comment.
And former government minister Winston Dukran says the country must stand firm against those seeking to dismantle the ICC. During a wreath-laying ceremony to commemorate the 1990 attempted coup at the Red House today, Dukran, who served as planning minister under the leadership of A.N.R. Robinson, called on the government not to allow others to derail the work Robinson did in establishing the ICC. Last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio called on world leaders to reject the authority of the ICC. This comes months after the ICC issued arrest warrants for U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for crimes against humanity. Dukran says the legacy of Robinson as a grandfather of the ICC must be preserved.
Let us inspire ourselves to resolve to defend those institutions of a global nature that have been set up with the support of Trinidad and Tobago. We have been proud, and those who have written about it have said that perhaps this was the single most important intervention that a small country in the Caribbean ever made to the global scene.
36 years after the 1990 attempted coup, those who lived through its trauma say their fight for justice is far from over.
Today, they called on the government to finally act on recommendations made 12 years ago to compensate victims. Jensen Leven and Gary Vincent report.
There's a belief that without justice, this country can descend into chaos, likened to the days of the attempted coup 36 years ago. A handful of past parliamentarians gathered at the Red House on Monday to mark the 36th anniversary of the attempted coup. Pastor Clive Dutton told those gathered that this country needs justice if it is to refrain from another violent explosion.
It is highly possible that 1990 could repeat itself in this country if we don't understand the word that Mr. Dukran used and Brother Nizam, and that is justice. A society without justice is a society that will go to anarchy.
Former House Speaker Nizam Mohammed recalled what took place 36 years ago.
On July 27th, 1990, the guns spoke in this place. It was fire, gunfire. Lives were lost. Bodies were broken. A nation was shaken to its core.
And 12 years after the Commission of Inquiry into the attempted coup recommended that victims be compensated, activist Wendell Eversley again called for the state to make good on the recommendations, which a potential beneficiary agrees with.
I think I needed most of all, yes, because they snatched it away from me and it was hard, and it still is hard. They say make your bed or you make your bed lie in it, but no. Sometimes the cards that was dealt, trust me. I love my children, and believe you me, if I didn't have them, I think I'd have done gone A1 already. Right, so I think I was one that needed recommendations to be put into place.
Eversley, who walked from Arima to Port of Spain to commemorate the attempted coup, said leaders lack integrity and believes this is the reason for the failure to implement any of the recommendations.
Leaders not truthful. Leaders are not truthful to the population of Trinidad and Tobago. And when we could see that we're under a state of emergency, but I want to call on all law-abiding citizens. So long as we're following the law, a state of emergency shouldn't be a state of silence.
Former PNM Senator Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal says while the PNM was in power for most of the 12 years since the recommendations were made, the onus is now on the government to implement it.
I can't sit here as a former member of the government and not of the PNM government and not recognize that if recommendations were made and we did not take the steps then to implement, I can't not recognize that. But there is a new administration now, and I think the time for blame game is over.
Pastor Dutton called on the government to acknowledge and treat with the trauma of the attempted coup as a matter of urgency. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News.
Let's tell you what's still to come in the news tonight. An 82-year-old woman loses her life after a devastating house fire tears through her family's home.
Heading to the coast, spring tides are back, and we'll tell you what to watch for.
Once my light on, green light, steam. It's lava. Nice steam. Nice steam. Nice steam. Nice steam. Happy riding. Happy riding. Happy
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office?
Surprise!
Not yet, Carl.
Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Get a loan at Bremont. The process is simple. Fast and efficient approvals, receive funds within 24 hours once approved, and no penalty for early repayment. Located at 4 Gallo Street, Woodbrook. Remember, we like to lend.
Trinidad and Tobago Automotive Dealers Association will meet with officials from the Customs and Excise Division tomorrow to present documents supporting its call for the government to delay the proposed increase in vehicle taxes until a resolution can be reached. Following a meeting a short while ago with Finance Minister Dave Tanku, Trade Minister Kennedy Swartzing, and officials of the Customs and Excise Division, TTADA President Visham Babwa urged the public to be patient.
Until that meeting tomorrow, and then they can proceed. If persons want to pay their taxes, and they are free to do that. If they want to pay their taxes and clear their cars, they are free to do that.
Babwa says it was up to the customers to determine if they could afford to wait to clear their vehicles until the issue was resolved, as the issue is ongoing.
In tonight's Business Watch, Chinese-made vehicles continue to expand their footprint in TNT as AM Marketing introduces a new brand to the local market.
Meanwhile, BYD also expands into South Trinidad, and Peter Christopher tells us more.
A new Chinese automotive brand has been introduced to Trinidad and Tobago. Over the weekend, AM Marketing Chief Executive Officer Ashmin Mohammed spoke with Business Watch about the decision to bring in this brand.
The brand of the pickup is 4D, and this is a company out of China that has been in the automotive business for approximately, I would say, 35 to 40 years.
However, unlike most dealers bringing in Chinese vehicles for sale on the local market, the 4D F22 pickup is not an electric vehicle, but runs on a traditional internal combustion engine.
The Chinese vehicles, there are many manufacturers in China, and their quality has been improving tremendously. And so, well, I mean, there are only so many manufacturers that making ICE vehicles now, because the trend worldwide is basically to go electric.
Mohammed says the decision not to bring in EVs at this moment is due to a combination of geopolitical factors and foreign exchange availability.
Recently, shipping has increased due to the war in the Middle East and the challenges that they have with the high prices of fuel and whatnot. So the shipping basically has increased, I would say, by more than 100% from April to June. We would like to bring electric vehicles, but with the limited foreign exchange, we have to really choose what we could import at this point in time.
Staying in South Trinidad, the rise in popularity in Chinese vehicles in Trinidad and Tobago has been underlined by LaFast Motors' decision to open a new BYD showroom in San Fernando. The company officially opened the showroom last Friday at Extra Foods Plaza in South Park. BYD has been one of the top-selling EV brands in the world, while also seeing significant sales in Trinidad and Tobago since its launch in May 2024. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Peter Christopher, CNC3 Business Watch.
It's now time for the weather forecast with Sigoni Mohammed. And Sigoni, we thought we left the very hot temperatures back in the dry season, but they seem to be encroaching on the wet season.
On the wet season. And you know, wet season actually has a heat season.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have a heat season, but we'll get it in the middle of the wet season. In the middle of it. But we'll get to that in another forecast. But today we had wickedly warm temperatures, 33 degrees Celsius in Trinidad, 31, borderline 32 degrees if you were in Tobago. So it was hot, basically, right? Will we see more of that tomorrow? Possibly. Let's take a look at that forecast. But there is some relief on the way as well. We do have a tropical wave, which is inching closer and closer. It looks so far away right now from Trinidad and Tobago. But ahead of this tropical wave, before the axis comes into play, let's zoom in here. We do have a little bit of moisture moving in. It would have brought in some heavy downpours across western parts of Trinidad today, even into the south. And now we're seeing a little bit of activity just east of the islands. And we could see some quick passing showers in the forecast. Not a lot, light to moderate showers, but you may not be hearing that thunderous boom into this evening's outlook, unfortunately, maybe into tomorrow. If you're in Tobago, you may just get some of that wet weather into your early morning commute, but into the rest of this forecast for the remainder of today, we are expecting that dust haze, which is still pretty much present, to stay with us. It's going to keep in the picture for the next couple of days, so be sure to have your relievers and inhalers on hand. It's going to still stay with us. Aside from that, some quick passing clouds and some light breezes. Not a lot to talk about to keep you cool as temperatures remain kind of warm into this evening's outlook. So we know we have a tropical wave on the way by midweek that's going to come into play. Saharan dust still blanketing the region in varying concentrations, light for where we are right now. And for the remainder of the Atlantic, it's quiet. No tropical cyclonic activity, at least not for this week. So that's good news. But what we are looking for is some reprieve from the heat. We're in for another hot day tomorrow. Sunshine and dust haze, but by the afternoon, we'll see showers picking up. Tropical wave moves in come Wednesday, and then we see that drying out factor and temperatures really warm as we go through this forecast period. If you're in Tobago, though, early morning thunderstorm activity on Tuesday and Wednesday picks up with the tropical wave, but as the week progresses, the showers tend to die out just a little bit, and we see a lot of sunshine and dust haze taking over, but winds remain light and the temperatures remain steamy. If that's enough to take you to the beach, we'll look out for even lighter wind action. Waves, however, pushing just 1 to 1.5 meters in terms of the height there. And because of full moon this week, spring tide is back in effect, and that means you have to exercise extra caution, especially during your high tide times, if you do decide to venture offshore within the next couple of hours. So bear that in mind.
All right, thank you so much, Sigoni. But still to come in the news, 5 people survive a terrifying 40-foot plunge at Maracas Bay after a suspected brake failure sends their vehicle over the edge.
For over 4 decades, Nagico has been a steadfast partner, enabling communities and businesses across Dutch, English, and French-speaking territories within the Caribbean and also France. Every policy we provide is a promise to help with managing the uncertainties of life. Beyond insurance, we're committed to uplifting our communities through sponsorships and initiatives. We're a people-centric, purpose-driven organization dedicated to building a brighter future.
AM Best rated us A- excellent for financial strength.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Deba Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
What began began as an ordinary Sunday afternoon for a Diego Martin family ended in tragedy when a house fire gutted one room of the home, killing their 82-year-old matriarch.
Police said Khairun Hussein was in the second-floor bedroom of the home when the fire began just after 3 p.m. When CNC3 News visited the scene today, investigators from the fire service were seen inspecting the property as part of their inquiry. Hussein's son, Sean Hussein, who was not at the house at the time of the fire, said he visited his mother 3 times daily and recalled his last interactions with her.
I will ask you certain little questions and things, you know, to keep your mind occupied. Just to see that smile and she feels something, you know.
One neighbor, Susan Sherwood, told CNC3 News that she was also deeply hurt by the incident, noting that she often spoke with Hussein, whom she described as the matriarch of the community.
Yeah, we used to talk with her. We used to talk because we grew up as family. I know her from day one. When small, yeah. She was a nice person. She was very, very nice. So when I hear that, my heart went out.
The younger Hussein thanked Sherwood and other residents for their efforts to douse the flames with a bucket brigade. As he said, despite the tragedy, he was heartened by their support and response. Officers responding to a break-in at the Massey Store's warehouse on French Street found the body of a homeless man bound and killed in a nearby vacant lot.
The victim has been identified as Peter Simangal. Residents say Simangal had been living in the abandoned compound where his body was discovered. Investigators believe he was strangled. The discovery was made after security officers reported a break-in at the nearby Massey Store's warehouse around 2:49 this morning. When police arrived, they found a hole in the warehouse and boxes of wine bottles scattered throughout the property. Investigators are now examining whether Simangal's death is connected to the break-in. Massey Stores says it will conduct a full inventory to determine whether any items were stolen.
What started as a trip to Maracas Bay ended with 5 people scrambling to escape a car that plunged 40 feet down a precipice.
Police said the group, all from Marabella, was traveling along the North Coast Road around 3:45 p.m. yesterday when the driver pulled over near the Maracas Bay lookout. But as he tried to stop, investigators believe the vehicle's braking system failed.
The white Mitsubishi Lancer continued moving forward, went off the edge of the roadway and landed upside down at the bottom of a steep precipice. 3 of the occupants managed to climb back up and call for help.
Officers from the Santa Cruz fire station responded to the scene and rescued the 2 remaining passengers. All 5 were taken to hospital with injuries to their heads and limbs. Police said they were treated and are listed in stable condition.
All right, it is now time for sport, and guess who's back? Jassy is back with us. And Jassy, you have some news including the latest from the 2 overlapping multi-sport games.
Yeah, Team TTO is well represented at the Commonwealth Games in Scotland, but it's at the CSC Games in Santo Domingo where we have had our latest taste of medal success. We'll give you the details. Plus, we get to know the San Fernando boy with big basketball dreams who's now on his way to becoming a household name in the NBA. Stick around. Sport is next.
New remedy for the healthy function of the nerves in the feet and legs.
I have been living with diabetes over 10 years, and the nerve pain was becoming unbearable. The numbness, the tingling, the burning became a daily challenge. A friend told me about New Remedy, and after 3 weeks of trying it, there was a marked difference.
Benfotiamine, a synthetic form of thiamine, has been scientifically shown to help relieve many of these symptoms, especially in early cognitive decline. I strongly recommend it as part of your supplement regime and for all patients with nerve problems.
I have confidence in New Remedy because it contains benfotiamine. This has been proven to help with numbness, tingling, and pain in the legs and feet.
As a pharmacist, I strongly recommend New Remedy to all my clients.
If you're experiencing nerve pain like I did, try New Remedy. It worked for me, it will work for you.
New Remedy is available at all major pharmacies nationwide.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Life. What a wonderful journey we're on. Each stage is unique, And at Tata Life, we not only understand, but also appreciate that you'll have different needs at different times. So trust us to protect you and yours with our comprehensive range of financial planning solutions to ensure that you never, ever have to worry. To learn more, contact a Tata Life advisor or visit tatalife.co.tt today. For the many stages of your life, Tata Life, a member of the Answer McCall Group.
Just got your CXC or CAPE results? Then start your degree today at CTS College and choose from many of our pathways in business management, business administration, human resource management, marketing, finance, management information systems, computer engineering, computing and information systems. Full and partial scholarships are available. CTS College, where education is beyond academics.
7 p.m. Sports News, brought to you by Tattle and Tattle Life.
Welcome back. It's time for sport now. And after the 2025 season marked the first time in the history of the tournament that no Caribbean Premier League matches were hosted at the Queen's Park Oval, comes news that all 5 of Trinbago Knight Riders' home matches in this year's CPL will be played at the Port of Spain venue. It also marks the first time since 2016 that TKR will play all their matches there. Here's what QPCC President Jeffrey Gillen said about the development.
Trinidad's very fortunate to have 2 first-class grounds. Queen's Park is always available and open for business, you know. So we overjoyed the fact that we didn't get it last year. We're back in the mix this year.
After the Brian Lara Cricket Academy started sharing hosting duties in 2017, it hosted all of TKR's matches last season due to logistical efficiency, as well as a CPL request for the Oval to address sponsor signage, among other areas. According to Glenn, Sunday's second test match between the West Indies and Pakistan is an ideal dress rehearsal.
Yeah, right now we are preparing for our 64th test match, right, which starts on Sunday. So we're in preparation mode and we're almost completed for that. The outfield looks fantastic. It's in fantastic shape, you know. The wicket, they're going to get an excellent wicket for the test match, and we'll continue our preparations thereafter for CPL.
Now, CPL organizers also confirmed that tickets for the Trinidad leg of matches, which runs from August 26th to September 2nd, have already gone on sale. And some persons are even reporting that some of the stands are already sold out. Basketball now. Well, on June 24th, Trinidad and Tobago basketballer Malik Lewis was selected with the final pick of the 2026 NBA draft. At just 21 years old, it's a major step in a professional career that has already been initiated via stints in Spain and Australia. But Lewis recognizes that the NBA is literally a league of its own.
Tajay Moore rejected at the rim by Malik Lewis.
Get familiar, basketball fans, because this could become a regular call on NBA commentary as Malik Lewis embarks on what he hopes will be a long and fulfilling career in the best league in the world.
When I was young, I didn't think any of this would have really played out. We know that it is playing out. It's surreal.
On June 24th, Lewis was selected by the Washington Wizards with the 60th and final pick of the 2026 NBA draft, then traded to two-time champions Milwaukee Bucks. A full-circle moment for the son of Rondell Redhead and Asher Lewis. Reflecting on his journey, which took off as a 14-year-old whose first plane ride took him to Spain before he had even gone to Tobago, one could see why Malik ended up in the NBA.
Since I heard that I had the opportunity to go to Spain, that's when everything kind of gets serious. I have 2 reasons why people does succeed. Being embarrassed of failing or being scared, and I would have been embarrassed, of going back home after leaving. So I kind of had to lock in and take it serious. Telling everyone that, going out to play basketball, and then coming back and saying, well, yeah, I wasn't good enough. To me, that's an embarrassing thing,
It's the same fear of failure, or rather thirst for success, that has shaped the mindset of this second of 5 children all the way up to draft night. But while the NBA dream has always existed, the eventuality was not always apparent.
Like, confidence has always been a thing. So just watching myself while I'm confident and while I was doubtful, it was two completely different players. So like where things really kicked off was my last game in Florida, brother. I think that game we had already got relegated, so the coach kind of tell me to give me the ball and told me to go and play. So I think that game I had like 20-something points in the ACB, and that was a big thing. After that, everything started to blow up and everyone started to recognize who I am.
From San Fernando by way of Pleasance Park, Pointe-a-Pierre, to Spain, Mexico City, Melbourne, Australia, and now to Milwaukee, the once aspiring football goalkeeper has his work cut out, especially with comparisons to former Bucks legend Giannis Antetokounmpo hanging about.
Work rate will have to go up a lot more. Just had to be in the gym, live in the gym. I feel like that will answer all the questions.
And as someone with a self-proclaimed boring life outside of basketball, do not doubt whether Malik's dedication to success just might earn him the productive NBA career he desires. Certainly a name to keep on tabs on as he embarks on what we also hope will be a fantastic and fine career indeed. TNT's Tennille Campbell has her second bronze medal of this year's CAC Games. 2 days after placing third in the 30-kilometer individual time trial, the endurance specialist tried her hand at the shorter distance, teaming up with Kyra Williams and Phoebe Sandy for the women's team sprint bronze in 1 minute 11.026 seconds. The event was won by Colombia, with Mexico placing second. The TNT trio of Ryan Darbro, Kwesi Brown, and Daniel James also claimed bronze, clocking 1 minute 1.960 seconds behind Mexico and Colombia. TNT's Rugby Sevens men just missed out on the bronze medal themselves, falling to the Dominican Republic 17-12 in that semi-final. Women's beach volleyball pair of Malika Davidson and Afia Glasgow triumphed over Grenada in straight sets, winning 21-16, 21-19 in group play. Chris Richards Jr. is still in the hunt for a medal himself on the links. After 3 rounds, he is joint 5th, 2 under par heading into the 4th round, and Teague Marcano scored a hat-trick as the Calypso Stickmen brushed aside Mexico 5-1 in their Group A match. Further afield at the Commonwealth Games, 2018 women's 100-meter champion Michelle Liahi qualified for the semi-finals with the 10th fastest time out of 53 athletes in this year's edition. Her 11.35 seconds saw her finish second in qualifying heat number 6. Leah Bertrand, meanwhile, won heat number 2 in a time of 11.44 seconds and was 11th fastest overall in the first round. Reese Webster finished 20th overall and did not advance, despite placing second in heat 5 in 11.63 seconds. Omari Lewis's winning time of 10.18 seconds in heat number 9 was good enough for 12th fastest to qualify for the men's 100-meter semis. Eric Harrison Jr. was third in heat 6 and 38th overall in a time of 10.56, but he bowed out of that competition. Kelsey Daniel qualified for the final of the men's long jump, finishing 5th in Group A with a best of 7.74 meters. And TNT's netball team fell to a 3rd straight defeat, losing 77-27 against Scotland. The West Indies batters have again failed to capitalize on an excellent foundation laid by the bowlers, this time on day 3 of the first test against Pakistan. Meanwhile, all-rounder Justin Greaves claimed the first 5-wicket haul at Test cricket's newest venue. Pakistan also had a milestone of their own to celebrate at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy.
Once the single, Shan Masood writes his name into the history of the Brian Lara Cricket Academy.
Shan Masood's moment in time underscored an uncomplicated start to proceedings on day 3 by Pakistan. He was able to carry on from 88 overnight to the first ever Test 100 scored at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. But a 47-run partnership with Salman Agha ended with the latter man squared up by Shamal Joseph on 20. Pakistan 244 for 4. Then Justin Greaves burst into life with a clinical spell of 4 wicket maidens on the trot before lunch. He removed Masood for 109. Then with the score on 248, Amir Jamal was bowled for 3. In his next over, Greaves accounted for Ali Usman trapped in front. His 4th wicket in 4 overs sent Mohammad Rizwan back to the dressing room on 12. Pakistan begging mercy heading to lunch at 267 for 8 and trailing by 44. Straight after the break, Greaves enticed Mohammad Abbas 5 back-to-back wicket maidens, giving him his first 5-wicket haul in tests. He finished with figures of 5 for 27 from 11 overs. Kumar Roach mopped up Pakistan's innings at 282 all out, giving the Windies a lead of 29. They only added 7 to that lead before Brandon King failed to fire again. Abbas, the bowler, King made 5. 3 balls later, Abbas got 1 to jump up at Kavem Hodge. The West Indies 7 for 2. Tej Narayan Chanderpaul has been under the microscope and looked to make this his moment. But fellow left-hander Amir Jangu could not stick around. He made 4 and was caught and bowled Muhammad Ali. The West Indies 30 for 3 at tea, leading by 59. After the break, things went from bad to worse. Hope gave his wicket away on 10. Then Chanderpaul's watch ended with him on 35. Greaves, hero with the ball, could not work similar magic with the bat and was caught out on 20. The West Indies 85 for 6. Ruston Chase made 8 and was caught behind with the score on 93. The home team closed on 126 for 7, leading by 155 runs. And now tonight's Sport High tips our hat to a maiden feat of magic. Owing to this being the first test match played at the venue, never before had a 5-wicket haul been recorded at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. But in 5 clinical overs, Justin Greaves engraved his name and those of Shan Masood, Amir Jamal, Ali Usman, Mohammad Rizwan and Mohammad Abbas into history. Each of them fell in consecutive wicket-maiden overs, a first in test cricket. So, for notching his first ever 5-fer in fine style, Greaves gets tonight's Sport High. That is it for sport, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
The best eyewear this summer is at Seaview Optical. Buy 1 complete clear single vision glasses for $499. Get the second pair free. Or get progressive transitions with designer frames for only $1,399. The best in luxury eyewear, all exclusively available at Seaview Optical.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally. Introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Here's a look at tonight's regional roundup.
Venezuela is officially pulling out of the International Criminal Court, sparking deep alarm from a UN-backed probe, warning it reinforces impunity. The Foreign Ministry blames geographical bias as the ICC investigates alleged crimes against humanity under the ousted Maduro regime. Haiti's Electoral Council has scheduled the country's first presidential vote in a decade for December, following years of delays driven by severe gang violence. Under the newly published calendar, citizens will also vote on constitutional reforms and local representatives. Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali has announced the Heart Initiative to coordinate nationwide healing following the tragic sinking of the MV Barima earlier this month. Led by Carl Stewart, the national body aims to provide aid to grieving families, though officials stress the measures are not compensation. With the confirmed death toll at 73 and at least 30 passengers still unaccounted for, recovery operations face severe challenges as French divers report treacherous conditions inside the wreck. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Well, as we leave you, let's remind you to stay connected with us on our social media platforms.
There you'll find tonight's stories, the latest updates and exclusive content, and don't forget to pick up a copy of the TNT Guardian newspaper.
We've come to the end of the 7 p.m. news here on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maria Rambali.
I'm Ryan Baitshu.
I am Jassi Marique.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Have a good night.
You're watching CNC3.